Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 9, text number 9. Yunam vimushtamatayastava mayayate etvam vayapyaya vimukshanamanyeheto archanti kalpakatarum kunapopabhogyam ichanti yat sparshajam nirayepi nridam. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Persons who worship you simply for the sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. In spite of having you, who are like a desire tree and are the cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons such as me desire benedictions from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in hellish conditions. Dhruva Maharaj repented because he had come to the Lord to render devotion service for material profit. He here condemns his attitude. Only due to gross lack of knowledge does one worship the Lord for material profit or for sense gratification. The Lord is like a desire tree. Anyone can have whatever he desires from the Lord. But people in general do not know what kind of benediction they should ask from him. Happiness derived from touch of skin or sensuous happiness is present in the lives of hogs and dogs. Such happiness is very insignificant. Even if a devotee worships the Lord for such insignificant happiness, he must be considered devoid of all knowledge. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So Dhruva Maharaj is speaking his realization after seeing the wonderful Lord before him and after having experienced the transcendental bliss of meditating at the Lord's lotus feet in his heart and hearing about him from the pure devotee Narada Rishi, and ultimately having darshan of the Lord before him. With all these experiences, Dhruva Maharaj was repenting. And he was talking about himself. Person who worship you for sense gratification, for this bag of skin, are certainly influenced by illusory energy. And when the Lord is in our heart, who can fulfill all desires, spiritual desires of crossing over birth, death, ocean of birth and death. It is only foolish to ask for anything for this body. And significantly, he ends saying that these sensations are available even in hellish planets. So this sense enjoyment, sense and sense object enjoyment, it not necessarily something sacrosanct. Unless the senses are engaged in service of the Lord, those sense pleasures are actually poison. So there is poison pleasure and there is pure pleasure. So all sense and sense objects, enjoyment that we experience in this material world, disconnected to the service of the Lord, that is important. It is binding the living entity to the samsara, and it is a form of a punishment. So, Dhruva Maharaj is saying, I am so foolish. I have been drinking this poison. How when you are in my heart and ready to give me nectar of your transcendental glories, the nectar of your form, nectar of your fame, name, everything, qualities, when you are ready to bestow upon me the sweet pleasures of these things, sweet delight of your transcendental name, form, etc. How foolish I have been to choose to take, instead of sweet pleasures, poison pleasures. This you have to understand. And these poison pleasures are not natural to us. But Maya makes us believe that is your pleasure. That's why it is called illusory pleasure. Illusory pleasure means imaginary pleasure. You can have pleasure only with your own senses. But now we don't have our senses. Our senses are the spiritual body. Our body is a spiritual body in the spiritual world. My original body is a spiritual body with spiritual senses. And that is sleeping. How can I say that it is my sense enjoyment? In the dream, if I feel some good sense gratification, is it true that it is my gratification? Because you are lying on the bed. It is not your gratification because your senses are not enjoying, your senses are sleeping. So therefore they are called illusory pleasures. Illusory body, illusory bodily pleasure, illusory sense pleasure. This gross pleasure of the body and subtle pleasure of the body. Gross pleasure of the body is all the five senses. To see beautiful things, to touch pleasurable sensations, to taste, to smell, to hear nice harmonious music, etc. The five senses are there in this body, which has got the corresponding sense objects in the outside world. And when these senses interact with the outside, those senses, then you get sensations. Before seeing something beautiful, I don't have that sensation. The moment I see something beautiful, there is a sensation. So I experience a sensation. So these sense pleasures are all coming from the five sense objects. When your real senses are sleeping, when our own real senses are sleeping, how can I say that the sense pleasure that I experience in the material world is mine? Because this is a duplicate body which is not yours. Because we don't own it. It comes and it goes. Nobody can have this bag of skin forever. Even let us say it is assuming it is capable of producing pleasures, such illusory pleasure that it will look exactly like, just like gilded gold will look exactly like gold. Then you can say duplicating process is perfect. You look at the gold, you cannot make out it is real gold or gilded gold. You cannot make out. If you can make out, then the cheater has not done a good job. Correct? If you are successfully thinking this is gold, then the cheater has done a good job. So who is this cheater? Maya. She is expert. She is expert. Simply by experience of that sensation, you cannot say that this is material sensation and not spiritual sensation. It will be exactly like spiritual sensation. Therefore, we get bewildered. How you say this is illusory pleasure? I cannot make out. You cannot make out. You cannot differentiate. Here is a real gold, here is a duplicate gold. You cannot make out with your senses. Sensually, you cannot make out. But buddhi is there. With buddhi, sometimes it is possible. How? What is the density of gold and what density of this? Density is not something that is visible, no? Density is a property that intellectually you have found out. You put in the water, see how much water it displaces. A volume is available. And then you see the weight, see the density. Oh, this is not. It will be like. So similarly, there are certain things that we have to hear from the Shastra. When you hear from the Shastra, what are these tests by which you can differentiate? So Shastra is saying simply one thing. Don't go for detailed test. Wholesale, it is cheating. Because it is not your body. If it is your body, your senses, then you can say it is my pleasure. My spiritual body, my spiritual senses are sleeping. Just like in the movie, if there is a sense pleasure, that's not your pleasure. It is imaginary pleasure. And in a dream, there is pleasure. Then somebody may ask, what is wrong? Anyway, pleasure to hai. If illusory, if gilded gold is giving experience of exactly like gold, then why I should give up? Because ultimately I am living for experience. What is the answer? Momentarily, yes, it is same, but you are not only pleasure seeker. Soul is not only Ananda. Soul is Sat, Chit and Ananda. It wants Sat Ananda. It wants eternal, that is my nature. My original Ananda is eternal Ananda. And free from ignorance. Chit means free from ignorance. Sat Chit Ananda. I want true pleasure. My true pleasure is Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. When I lock my senses in service of the Supreme Lord, then I start, that is my real pleasure. But now my senses are all sleeping. Because my senses are sleeping, my spiritual senses are sleeping. Therefore, even though I am serving Krishna, I am not feeling that much pleasure. I am feeling greater pleasure in sense enjoyment. Since my senses are sleeping, because spiritual pleasure you can only experience by spiritual senses, spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence. So now even though I am practicing bhakti, I take more pleasure in seeing the forms of flesh in this world than the deity. When I see the deity, that ahlad doesn't come in my mind. But there are so many things in this material world, so many beauties I see, immediate ahlad comes. So you can realize where we stand with respect to our higher taste. You cannot take higher taste without waking up our spiritual senses. So that is, here he is praying how foolish it is. that I am praying to you, I am coming to you for these things which are available even in hellish planets. They are momentary. Momentary means what? Senses are momentary. The enjoyer is momentary. Enjoyment is momentary. Most important thing is the enjoyer is momentary. Who is the enjoyer? If a man has to enjoy a woman, false ego. How can he enjoy if he doesn't think he is a man? Correct? His enjoyment of a woman is coming because he is thinking he is a man. Or a woman is thinking she is a woman, therefore she can enjoy a man. So what is the foundation for enjoyment? False ego. So if false ego goes, then there is no question of enjoying. I am not that male or female. Moment you think you are male, then all the characteristic desires of a male will immediately get loaded. Because loaded means we already socially we have created that from childhood. So the enjoyer, we have to understand sense enjoyment means the enjoyer is temporary. Once upon a time we used to enjoy drinking tea, coffee, or so many things that we left behind. You go back in your memory. Unwanted food. Now you are here. At that time, did you enjoy or not? Enjoyed. Go to good hotels. Either both acha hai, ye acha hai. I don't want to mention the names. Sitting in Bhagavatam class seat. So all kinds of things we enjoyed. Who is the enjoyer? Where is that enjoyer? Where is that enjoyer? It's not there. That enjoyer is gone only in your memory. Only in your memory. So that is the difference. Why? Because everything is false. Everything was happening in the movie screen. Suddenly when you die, movie screen is blank. Movie ended. Story ended. My God, entire thing I am thinking it is my life. So much me, my life, my everything is enough. So this body is me. Everything ended. 1 second, gone. Then you switched over to the next movie. Again, when you're born somewhere, again, Papa, Mama begins. And Papa, Mama also will begin. Bacha, beta. So as they are growing, they are building illusions. Nowadays, illusions are even easier to burst. Because many parents, even karmi parents, have realized all this bacha, beta and all is, humko kuch banega nahi, baad mein chale jayega. Apna, their own wives, children, everything, then they are in their own world. Then I am irrelevant to me. Many people are realizing, many karmis are realizing also. They don't trust their children. Even when they are small child also, they are very careful. I should not get too much attached. वो तो मारने वाला है. So it's all, the enjoyer is temporary, enjoyment is temporary. So momentary sensation you get, illusory sensation. There is real Rasgulla. And if you give somebody just for a moment a little pinch of Rasgulla on your tongue, then you will say, I got a little pinch. But in the material world, that pinch is also not real Rasgulla. The drop of pleasure experientially appear like pleasure because there is no chinmaya vastu in this material world for you to enjoy. Every sense object in the spiritual world is a chinmaya vastu. That means it has got a personality, it relates. These are all jada vastu. In jada vastu, you have to use your mind and imagine that this is like chinmaya vastu and believe so. And that's very nicely created through chemical experience. A chemical experience. That is why you see, you get coronavirus, something happened, the virus goes, eat something, smell is gone. Pleasure of sense, it is gone. Then in some diseases, taste is gone. That means material taste, material smell is all due to chemicals. This is the entire... Nobody can make a psycho-bio robot. They can make a gross robot out of Panchabhuta. But they cannot put the 3 Sukshma Bhuta in it. What is that? Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara. They cannot put and create a robot like this yantra. Because the soul is beyond that. Soul is beyond Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara. Ahankara is that enjoyer. Aayega, jayega. Kidhar aayega, jayega? Only in the mind. Where is illusion? Illusion is always in the mind. Something outside, you cannot call it illusion. Outside means it is there. If I see that there is a coil of rope, if I see in darkness, I think it is a snake. What is that? You may think, but it is not snake. Not only you may think it is snake, you will generate the emotions that of a snake being there, and you will run away. That means illusion, not only in the head, it has consequences. It will make you, in reality, act foolishly. So this is the power of illusion. So the illusion that I am this body is making me act to lead an entire life for the body. The entire life for the body. So just by philosophical understanding, you cannot come out of this, because chemicals are connected to that experience. But there is one thing, if you don't involve in the chemicals, it just remains a sensation. Just like the soul leaves the body, whatever you do with the chemicals, there is no pleasure. The soul is the one who has to take pleasure. He creates that belief in him. Yes, this is pleasure. And that belief from childhood we are created. So only chemical cannot give pleasure. The soul has to involve. Through the mind it has to concoct. Therefore Krishna says all sense gratification is mental concoction in our mind. So it is said here, a bag of skin. But when we enjoy the pleasures, we don't think it is a bag of skin. Because we are not interested in the bag of skin, we are interested in what it produces in your brain. Somebody will say, what is wrong? Let it be bag of skin. Brain mein to acha lagta hai. Let me enjoy. While I was preaching like this to somebody told like this, bag of flesh, bro, so what? In my brain I got experience, I got ananda. It may be ananda for your body, but you are not the body. Your true self is suffering. That is the point. I am not disputing that with your brain you can use but you are responsible for it. Everything has a reaction. Shastra also allows sense gratification, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. For those who want to remain in this material world, there is provision. But they are not. Punya and papa, you get. But if you take enjoyment that is not due to you, it is poison pleasure. It will hit you as a reaction. Existence, knowledge and bliss. If you only go for bliss, then your existence is affected. Simple example. Suppose there's a big feast. You eat nicely. Next few days your existence is gone. You took ananda at the cost of sat. Isn't that? So we don't live only by sense pleasure. We don't live only by mind pleasure. We don't live only by social pleasure, name fame. You don't need. All has to balance. So therefore the Shastra says, this kind of kama is bad, this kind of kama is okay, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. If you want liberating experience, not binding experience, you want liberating experience, then your artha and kama has to be as per dharma. Then you will have liberating experience. It will not bind you. So you regulate your artha and kama, your greed for money, greed for sense gratification, all these things, you regulate. It will increase your sattva-guna. If you increase your sattva-guna, then you will have greater freedom. When you act in violation of dharma, then your sat you are limiting your sat. Sat means your future freedom. A rich man has got more sat freedom than, of course, these are all false. Still, it's a reflection of real sat, chitta and ananda. But it is a reflection. So, sat is not just simply a rich man is in a better, more freedom he has got. Sat is connected to power, sat is connected to existence, power, freedom. All these rasas are sat rasas. As far as the devotees are concerned, they are fed up. They don't want all these things. These are anyway, I know all this. Whether I have power in the material world, it is illusion. It is not real. Because not real with respect to what I am expecting. I want permanent power. Freedom. I want permanent freedom. For a few days I may feel free. Again I am bonded. In the material world, the moment I choose, I get bonded. Just like I choose to buy an airplane ticket and get into the flight, I am binding myself to remain in the flight till it lands. Is it not? You cannot do anything. After sitting, flight is gone. Now I want to walk in the airport. No, you are in the flight. You have bought the ticket, you got inside. Now sit here. Till the flight lands, sit here. So in the material world, freedom means automatically we are putting a circle. So this is not real freedom in the material world. Real freedom is devotional service to the Lord because it doesn't bind you. No circle goes around you because you're doing it for Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, some young man from folk, they come to us seeking help for pleasure-giving habits. They know that the habit is bad for them. They come to us seeking a help which they need an immediate solution. When we give a spiritual solution for them, saying that you chant, it will vanish gradually. But they say, Prabhu, it's a long-term process. So how to address them to solve this problem of pleasure-giving habits?
You see, how did that pleasure habit come into his mind? He has put it inside. Is it not? Everybody's pleasure beliefs, suddenly it doesn't. Whatever he put into the system, only it will function. By bad association, by whatever that process may be. It has gone inside you and you are sitting and you are believing this is pleasure. Okay. Now when the sense object you encounter, immediately because of long habit, it turns into a feeling of pleasure, which becomes an emotion. Now, emotion means a feeling has descended down into your body in the form of chemical. Once it has come into the body in the form of, into your brain in the form of chemicals, then you cannot relieve yourself. So we have to tell them that, look, simply by philosophy of Krishna consciousness, I tell you, your pleasure habit cannot go instantly. Because you created a pleasure belief in you. Now you create new pleasure beliefs based on Sat. These are Asat pleasure beliefs. Create Sat pleasure beliefs. Just like you have created this in your brain, you can create again Sat pleasure based on hearing from the Shastra. Which means, before you create any belief, first you have to have conviction at the intellectual plane. Whether bona fide or unbona fide, you have to get convinced. Just like children, sometimes you scare. Oh, don't do this. Police will catch you. Whether true or not doesn't matter. If the child believes, oh, police will catch me. So he will connect that, create a belief that I should not do this. But it's not true. But so therefore, but he's convinced because the parents are telling. So conviction need not be true. So in the same way, we have got so many false, untrue convictions about pleasure. So anyway, long and short, we have to tell them that how long it took for you and how long you have practiced this pleasure. So there is a conditioned behavior. Now it is not that we are telling you have to go through another deconditioning and then put fresh pleasure beliefs. No, we are not saying that. That may be part of the process. But our main way of changing the pleasure belief is by wholesale knowledge which comes, it is Chit Shakti of the Lord. So therefore you should tell them, don't worry, restrain as much as possible, go on chanting Hare Krishna. Associate with the holy name, and then automatically these bubbles of false pleasure beliefs it will become powerless. Higher taste will give you and lower taste will go away. So no need to tackle all individuals like this. Whatever it is there, control, try to control. If you fail, doesn't matter, never give up. Go into the positive, don't think about it. Go into the Krishna consciousness part of it. How to avoid situations which will trigger that old habit. These are all instructions from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, what you should associate, what you should not associate. So take those guidelines that are given by the Shastra and then go on putting the positive inside. Just like if you have muddy water in a glass, one way is, take out all the mud, small particles, how you can take out? What is the easy way? Go under a tap, open the tap. After 5 minutes, you have pure water. So similarly, we are telling Krishna consciousness should replace all the content in your head. For that, you spend all your time in more and more Shravanam, Kirtanam, associating with devotees, and automatically it will all change. Why it has changed in all our case? Because 24 hours we are putting something else different from what the karmis are putting. If you engage your mind 24 hours with what they are engaging in, you will become exactly like them. What is the difference between us and them? Whether it's action, thinking, feeling, willing, everything we are Krishnaizing. And therefore, we are becoming Krishna conscious. Automatically, all these habits will go away. Interest will go away. Taste will go away. What is the proof? Some things are very deep, some things are very light. You could easily give up tea and coffee. It's one small chemical. You could give up. But come to sex. It is not easy because 99% is in the head. 99% is in the mind, concoction. Mental concoction. So the mind has to become pure. That means mind has to hear all these things. Mind has to substitute itself with Krishna Katha. Mind has to with Krishna's instructions, holy name, all these things. And that's sadhana bhakti, that's what we are doing. So simply by following the sadhana bhakti, being the association of devotees, you develop a higher taste. Therefore you have given up all the old tastes, which are easy, something which are like a cobweb in the head. No intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, easy. By physical restriction itself, easy. There is a reason no illicit sex is very difficult to give up, even if you are in the ashram. Even if you change physical position, that cannot be. If there is no gambling opportunity, you won't gamble. If you don't get meat, so many people, they cannot afford meat. Once a month or something, poor people, they take. Right? No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication. Everything costs. You want to buy a cigarette, it costs. No illicit sex. 99% is in the head. Physically, you cannot stop it. This is an anartha. Mental concoction. Centered around, I am the body. So there is a basis there also. The seed is, I am the body. So why we say all that will go away? Because in bhakti, all that will go away because we are attacking the seed. Continuously, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. Continuously, I am acting as the eternal servant of Krishna. You go on acting, then your original consciousness that I am servant of Krishna is not only what you are putting inside. It's not that, one program you are replacing by another program. Sense gratification program with Krishna consciousness program you are replacing in your head. No. We do replace. But in the process, what happens? My original Krishna consciousness awakens. So now my consciousness, material consciousness is all only in the mind. But Krishna consciousness can be in the mind and then can be in the material mind. That means purified mind, and that will awaken my spiritual bhavana, spiritual feeling. Who am I? I am servant of Krishna. What is my delight? My delight is not in sense enjoyment, not my nature. To enjoy my senses is not my nature, not soul's nature. Soul's nature is to be enjoyed, to receive enjoyment from Krishna when he gives his prasadam. That is for the senses. Prabhupada explains, the spiritual world, sense pleasure is not very significant. It's all love pleasure. It's a love rasa. It's a delight of loving relationships. In the material world, we think that this sense pleasure is the heavy thing. But that's the lowest thing among all the ananda, even perverted wise. It's the smallest, insignificant it is. So in the spiritual world itself, sense object enjoyment is insignificant. What to speak in the material world? It is perverted, it is duplicate. So real pleasure means soul pleasure, Atma Ananda. And in the spiritual world also, for experiencing that Atma Ananda, there is an exchange of sense pleasure. It's one of the ingredients, that's all. But the real pleasure is loving relationship. So Atma Ananda is different. False ego Ananda is different. Intelligence Ananda is different. Mental Ananda is different. Five sense Ananda is different. They're all different. So in the material, in this system, what is there? What is true is Atma. All other Anandas, the Shastra says a yogi starts enjoying his own happiness. Who is he? Atma. Atmananda. And what is Atmananda's happiness? Love of God. That we have to awaken. That is my true happiness. When there is true happiness, for loving service of the loving service of the Lord, I will take ego suffering. I will take mental suffering, intellectual suffering. I will take suffering from my body. Whatever is required, I will take, because for me that is more important. Love for Krishna is more important. Because that is my real Ananda, is to give pleasure to Krishna. So when there is bhakti, when you try to give pleasure to Krishna, then you don't see my happiness, my this thing and all, because that itself is happiness. That is Atma Ananda. So this is training. Through a process of training, we have to get vairagya, we have to get detached from these things. What is true me, I get attached. What is not me, I get detached. This body is not me, I am thinking myself. When I say myself, I am thinking I am the body. All that myself feeling is bogus. It's not you. You have to get detached. So where you get that Shakti from? Impersonalists, they say, neti, 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 I am not this body, I am not this body. That is an intellectual process. We, by the mercy, by getting attached to Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna, getting attached to the holy name, we give up wholesale very easily. No small sense control this sense, control that sense. I have no faith, you should say. I have no faith in all this mind controlling my senses and all. One day it will control, tomorrow it will fail. I want permanent. What is permanent? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With great faith you chant every day very nicely, then all anarthas will go away. Because there's a process, explain, anartha nivritti, it happens. It happens. By chanting in association of devotees, sadhu sangha, anartha nivritti happens. Simply you realize, I didn't do anything, but now I lost taste, I don't want. Did you work very hard to give up tea, coffee? You don't even remember how you struggled. It was not a struggle at all. By sadhu's association it happened. Similarly, that is an anartha. Anartha means unwanted. That means body can survive without tea, coffee. It was an anartha. Anartha means unnecessarily, I don't need it. It is not required for me. My soul doesn't require. Similarly, anartha, the soul does not require sense gratification. It requires love of Krishna. So it will go away like that. That is our process. So that is what we should convince them. That this is a wholesale process, very powerful process. Don't worry, you don't have to handle that anartha. You involve in chanting Hare Krishna. It is not a problem at all. First, stop thinking it is a problem. The problem is you are not chanting properly. The problem is you are not taking the medicine, aushadhi inside. You take the aushadhi inside, cure will happen. Grandaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki